Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're the probably most ambitious person in your circle, and you get a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, on everything that you're being surrounded by is keeping you poor. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Use technology to your advantage.
There are 3 ways to use technology, and most people pick the one method that costs them money. You can be entertained, you can be educated, and you can create. Entertained, educated, create. The first one costs you money, entertainment. The second one is an investment, education. And the third one makes you money, create. The answer isn't to dump your phone and delete all social media. It's to use these insanely powerful tools to help you make money and achieve your goals. So what I want you to do is now evaluate how are you using technology and where does it fall into those 3 categories: entertain, educate, and create. I'll use me as an example. I'll go first, you go next. So for me, let me look at YouTube as an example. Great. Number 1, entertain. Very little. The only entertainment content that I consume on YouTube is going to be 1, music, which is really more just getting my state into an energetic, positive one. And 2, on the weekends, League of Legends, watching my team, TSM, hopefully carry the day. Other than that, I don't spend any time on entertainment content. People send me links to videos. If Alex comes in and wants to show me some silly videos, like, dude, I'm working. I don't want to be entertained right now. I got stuff to do. I want to go crush it on my goals, on my dreams. I got a lot that I need to get done today. Don't send me this stuff. 2, educate. I use YouTube a lot. YouTube is my number 1 source for education. More than books, more than podcasts, more than anything else, conferences, anything. YouTube is where I learn. Video content is where I learn. Most of my time spent on YouTube is researching and reviewing video clips that I am personally getting inspired by that then I want to share with you. If I am making a video that I'm sharing with you on any of my channels, it's because I have learned something from them. So I'm spending most of my time on YouTube being educated. And then number 3 is create, and I'm creating a lot. We're doing 3 videos a day across my 7 channels. So I'm creating. So I'm using YouTube not just as a way that costs me money, right? That I have to go spend money to buy something, but I'm using it to invest into myself as well as to create content and then generates a return as I can build a business around it. Great. Next, let's go to Instagram. Same process. 1, entertain. 0. I consume nobody on Instagram. If I'm looking through anybody's Instagram feed, it's maybe a tiny little bit from friends or family who are off doing something, or somebody on my team, right? Somebody on my team posts something, I want to be there and support them and like it and give a quick comment. But I don't care what anybody's posted on Instagram. If I'm following anybody else, it's just to see what they're up to, that maybe I can learn some best practices. 2, education. Very little. I would much rather learn from a YouTube video than from an Instagram post. I don't consume anybody to learn from them. Again, apart from they're using some tactics, some technique, a different video thumbnail, going to IGTV instead of video posts, that kind of hacking and understanding how the system works, but I don't go to Instagram at all, even for education. And then 3 is create. I create a lot. How did I go from 6,000 subscribers at the beginning of last year to 150, whatever I'm at right now, by creating? I post 6 times a day to Instagram, 3 videos, 3 pictures. I go live almost every single day. We do stories 3 to 20 times a day. I'm a creation machine. And so apply this to your business, to your technology, to your habits. How are you using this? How are you using your computer? How are you using social media? And how does it divide into those 3 chunks? Entertainment, education, and creation. I see all these people who are deleting social media. They're deleting it from their phones. They're deleting it from their accounts. You're losing. This is the way to make money. This is the way to go and accomplish all your goals. You just don't know how to use it right. There's 3 ways to use it, and you're picking the number 1 losing way just by being entertained. Stop using it as entertainment. Use it to help you accomplish your goals. And so run that process. Look at every social media site that you're using. Look at all the websites that you visit. Look at how you use your phone, how you use your computer, how you use the tech in your life, and run each one through that filter and put a percentage next to it. What percent of my energy, of my time is going to entertainment on that platform, education on that platform, or creation on that platform? And if you can switch the percentages from category 1 to 2 and 3, you will start making a lot more money and move a lot closer to achieving your dream.
Rule number 2, raise your standards.
One of the hardest things in the world to do is to raise your standards. Everything that you are surrounded by keeps you where you are. Your friends, your family, the media you consume, your habits, everything. Your environment has been perfectly created to keep you exactly where you are right now. If you want to raise your standards, you need to raise your environment. I met up with a friend of mine recently who I've known for 12 plus years, and he was talking about how much I'd changed over the years. And for those of you hardcore fans of mine, you can go back on my content and see how much I've changed. But specifically for him, he's an entrepreneur. I've seen his business grow over the years. And he talked about how much more willing I was to be truthful, to be honest, to push him when it was uncomfortable, and believe in him even harder, to say the things that are uncomfortable that need to be said that will help him get to where he needs to be, to believe in people more than they believe in themselves. He's seen the changes in me and how much more direct I am, how much more confident I am, and how that's helped him directly in his business and his life. Where did that come from? It came from my videos. If you go back and watch my old content, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I loved what I was talking about. I thought it could help, but I didn't have the emotional commitment to the words. A lot of my messaging and belief has stayed the same, but my confidence and my commitment and my standards have raised because of the videos that I consume, because my environment was a certain way and it was pretty good. But now in watching my own channel, watching my own content, being a subscriber to myself, making my videos for me, and then sharing it with the world, I feel like I have all these people on my wall and more in my ear every day. I've got Steve Jobs talking to me every day. I got Oprah Winfrey in this ear. I got Elon Musk back over here. I've got all these people every day, all these successful people in my ears constantly. When you are around successful people, you will become more successful. When you hang around these people, you will start to think like they think. You will adopt their mindset. You will see the world the way that they see the world. And so you have a choice. Look at your current environment. Look at the people who you're currently hanging out with. Look at the media that you are currently consuming. Does it lift you up? Does it build you to be a better version of you? The thing that you want to go off and do, the thing that you need most in your life, are you surrounding yourself with that enough in your environment? Are you taking enough of it in? I want more belief in my life, and so I get a daily injection of belief through my channel, right? I inject myself with belief every day so that if you come around me and you've got a cold and you sneeze on me, right? You're a negative person, you're pessimistic, you sneeze on me with your negativity, I'm good because I have so much belief in me from the injection. But if you're not as solid, if you're not as strong, if your environment doesn't support that, then you stay where you are. Or worse, you start to go negative. And so I've grown in my abilities, in my confidence, in my skill set, in my mindset by being around the people that I profile on my channel every single day. When you raise your environment, you raise your standards. So I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that you can use to also raise your environment and raise your standards and get to where you wanna go in life. Here we go. Determine your one word. I wrote a book, Your One Word. You can pick it up or just quickly go through this exercise where you think about what is your one word most important core value. You are a human being, and every human has a single most important core value. For me, it's belief. Whatever you figure it out, it's always something positive. I've never had somebody's one word be hate or death. It's always something positive, but it's an aspirational thing. For me, I want to believe more in myself and others, even more so than I do right now. Your one word, your most important core value is aspirational. Whether it's freedom or inspire or motivate or care or belong or family or extraordinary or believe, whatever it is, it's a personal choice. But whatever you pick, whatever your most important core value one word is, that's what you need more in life. That's what you need to surround yourself more with. And so the very first step to figure out what kind of environment do you want to make? This might not mean anything to you. People ask me can I buy those posters? Well, this is a picture of of me and my parents when I'm like 9 years old. You want a picture of me and my parents on your wall? This is the environment for me, designed around belief. You need to start by figuring out what is your one word, most important core value. Step number 2 is then you create an environment around it. You think about what's on the walls. This is the easiest part. What's on the walls? When you walk into the place where you are working, what's on the walls? What's on the background of your computer screen? What's on the background of your cell phone? When you load this, we're loading this how many times a day? What's the message that hits you? Design your environment. The beautiful thing about designing an environment is you do it once. I figured out that these people meant something to me. Every poster back here tells a story that's personal to me. I like being in here and having Steve Jobs staring me down, my favorite entrepreneur, E.P. Giannini behind me, my parents, Howard, Kanye. I like having these people on my wall. They all tell me a story. It's a reminder every time I walk in, boom, they're hitting me in the face. And the beautiful thing is, I only had to do that once. I had to sit down and figure out what I wanted to have on my walls. I had to go off and create the posters and buy them. And then that's it. You set your environment up once, and then it motivates you every day forever. And so your office environment, what's on the desk, what's on your computer screen, what's on your cell phone, what's in your bedroom, what's on the mirror, design your environment once around your one word. So this means belief to me. Figure out your one word and then create your environment around it. And step number 3 is establish a morning routine to lift you up. So again, once you figure out your one word, you've created your environment, now we got to do daily habits. What's the thing that helps make you feel your one word on a daily basis? If you did the thing to help make you feel your one word, your most important core value, that makes you feel bold, confident, powerful, unstoppable, you did that thing every single morning, your life would be dramatically different. You will force yourself to raise your standards through your habits and your routine. So what is the thing for you that makes you come alive? For me, how do I get believe in the morning? I have to think about an entrepreneur that I helped yesterday. So much of what I do is just in front of, I'm talking to a camera. You know, my wife is here in front of me doing her work. I got these people behind me on the walls, but I'm just sitting here talking into a camera. It's easy to forget the impact that my work has. It's easy to get up and just live life when there's nothing forcing you to have to get better. And so I remind myself of the impact that I had yesterday. I think about an entrepreneur that I helped out through my content, through my one-on-ones, and then I have to share a message. The sharing the message makes me feel like I'm contributing again. That's what makes me feel belief. That's how I have to start my day. If I don't do that, I don't have as good a day. So whatever the thing is, when you figure out your one word, or whatever the thing is that makes you feel that emotion, not just checking the box of, yeah, I did it. You have to feel that every day. If you did that first thing every morning, your life will be dramatically different. So number 1, figure out what your one word is. Number 2, design an environment around it. And number 3, create a morning routine that will lift you up.
Rule number 3, ignore what others think.
If you live your life based off the opinions of other people, you will never do anything great. Take a look at who you're worried about. People who are not happy with their life. People who never went and took their shot. People who spend their life complaining instead of trying to change something. Is that who you want to be so worried about, what they think about your decisions? If anything, you want to do the exact opposite of what they're telling you to do. You don't want their life. So stop living your life by their rules. So I had an amazing one-on-one with an entrepreneur yesterday at my Q&A session here in Toronto that I do weekly. And I feel for her. She's such a talented, amazing, gifted entrepreneur. And we talked about your purpose coming from your pain. And she went through some massive pain that guided her to this success right now and on her path to personal development. But she's afraid to share what happened. And she said, maybe in a year or two, like give me a year to work on it and maybe I'll share it. Because she's afraid of what people will think. She's afraid that if it doesn't work out, that she may not be able to get another job. She's afraid of all these things that people might say about her if they found out the truth. The problem is that's your path. I don't care about where you're at right now. I need to know where you've come from. I need to know that you look like me. I need to know that your story is like mine. And so by living in the shadows and being afraid to tell the truth, what you're doing is 1, not letting people connect to you as a real person, right? This fake, perfect version of you isn't something that people can connect to. 2, you make it so that whatever you went through, you're telling yourself that it's shameful, and you're telling other people that it's shameful too. But if you come out and talk about what happened, then the people who feel ashamed about it, they now can come out and say, I'm not the only one. This happens to other people too. I'm a little bit more normal. And 3, if you want to build a business, if you want to create a YouTube channel, if you want to have a podcast, you want to be an author, you want to write a book, that's the thing that's going to actually help take you off. That's the thing. There was a great video that I told her about a woman who gained 70 pounds from having a child. So she's pregnant, she gained 70 pounds, and she had a 10-pound baby, and now she had 60 pounds of extra fat on her, right? 60 pounds. So that's a lot. And so she's trying to lose it, and she's working out, and she's eating healthy, and she finally gets down to having 6-pack abs and looking great. And then somebody noticed that when she bent over, that they could see the flaps of skin. When she stood up, it was all 6-pack, but when she bent over, there was flaps of skin. And what most people would have done is deleted that video, pretend like it didn't exist, not talk about that comments, right? Only show the perfect version. Look how much weight I lost. But she did something different. Instead, she said, yeah, that's my body now. That's what happens when you gain 70 pounds in pregnancy and pump out a 10-pound baby. And that became a rallying cry. That one moment of vulnerability, of saying, hey, I'm still not perfect. Like, look at this saggy skin that I still have. That's what brought people to her. Now she's not just another mom who lost weight and did this workout plan and meal plan, right? That connection was real. And now she's built $1 million plus business from selling e-courses and her recipes and everything else that she goes through. That's the thing. This is your competitive advantage. Your purpose, your pain, your story is your competitive advantage. I do not want to learn from you until I know that you've been through what I'm going through. I can't relate to that story, right? I can't tell that story. I can't tell a mom who gained 70 pounds how to lose weight. That's not my story. I can't relate to it. But helping entrepreneurs, I can, because I struggled and I suffered and I was making $300 a month and I was eating the same bean salad lunch every day and I celebrated with only McDonald's French fries because I couldn't afford to buy it. All of it. I struggle with fear and embarrassment and shame. All of it. I know what it's like. I've been through that. And why I do what I do now is because I want to try to make the path a little bit easier for the next generation of entrepreneurs, for you. I want you to feel like you're not alone. I want you to feel like there's a place you can come to with a beautiful community, a Believe Nation, where we're supporting each other. And there's content every single day across multiple channels that you can go and digest and dive into and hopefully make your path just a little bit easier. Because I wish I had this when I was getting started, when I was a 19-year-old entrepreneur who was insecure and ashamed and embarrassed and not willing to talk to anybody about the problems I was going through. Right? That's the thing that will connect people to you. But if you're so afraid of what people's judgments are going to be, you're never going to get started. I believe humans are built to serve. You're built to serve. You want to help other people. It's hardwired into us. Studies show that the impact of serving other people has the same effect on your brain as food and sex. It's hardwired into you. You want to help other people. And at the same time, you're afraid of judgment. So how do you help other people if you're also afraid of judgment? It's having your foot on the gas and a brake at the same time. You know you're capable of more, but then you're just standing on the same spot. It's the worst. And so you have to let go of the opinions of other people. Some people may not like what you're doing. That's okay. That can't prevent you from service. That can't prevent you from fulfilling your mission. That can't prevent you from living the life you want, because you're going to be 95 years old, looking back on your life and regretting it, knowing you're capable of more, but never taking action. So how do you better deal with criticism? I'm going to give you a 3-step process. Step number 1 is have empathy. Have empathy. If you believe like I believe that humans are built to serve, right? We're built to serve. Then if somebody is being critical and negative when they are built to serve, how bad does their life have to be that is forcing them to act this way? How bad does somebody's life have to be to come to your YouTube video and leave a nasty comment, or to tell you to your face that you suck and your idea is never going to work? How bad does their life have to be? So have some empathy. Like, their life sucks. And they're lashing out at not just you, everybody around them. So have empathy. When you have empathy, it removes the sting out of the words. Right now, it doesn't touch you as much because, if anything, you feel sorry for that person. You don't have to say, hey, I feel so sorry for you. You don't need to go and make it worse or have it go on an ego trip. But just know inside, have empathy, feel sorry for them, and not let it hit you as hard when they're giving you some criticism about your idea or you. Number 2 is look for a gem. A lot of times in the criticism, there's actually something you can learn from. A lot of times when somebody criticizes their idea or leaves a nasty comment on YouTube, you might just write it off of that person as being a hater. maybe they are, but there might be a kernel of truth. There might be some gem in there that you can use. I think a lot of people are too sensitive. I think if you can only take feedback when somebody sugarcoats it and packages it nicely and say, I love you, I love your channel, I love everything you're doing, I love all your ideas, but there's one little tiny thing that I think if you fix would really help. If that's the only way you can take feedback, you're gonna lose. You're gonna get nasty comments, and some of them are just pure haters and it's their own problem. But sometimes buried within that nasty comment is actually a kernel of truth. There's a gem in there for you. And so if you can remove the sting, right? Have empathy, remove the sting, then look at the comment and see, is there anything from this comment? Is there anything in this critique that I can actually learn to make my idea or my concept better? Look for the gem. And then number 3 is addressed to those who are dealing with their parents who might be your biggest critics. Understand that your parents are pilgrims. Your parents are pilgrims. Your parents come from a different era. If you're 20 years old right now, as an example, the opportunities available to you using this are things that your parents at 20 years old can't understand. The opportunities available to you right now are insane compared to what your parents had when they're at your same age. And so when they're saying, go get a safe job, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go be an accountant, go do something you can work at some job forever. That's actually their version of love for you, right? That's empathy. Empathy, step into their shoes. They love you. Chances are your parents love you. I hope. But chances are they do. And so they're trying to give you advice that they would have given themselves X number of years ago back when they were your age. They just don't understand what's available right now. A lot of times, a lot of the people who are critiquing you, criticizing you, it may be out of love. They just don't understand the path that you see. They don't understand the world that we're living in right now. They don't understand everything that can be created. And so have that empathy for them. Understand that that's where they're coming from. They love you. And again, removes the sting out of the words. And then you can see, how do you want to act? How do you want to react to these people around you that would make you feel proud? Whatever that is in your head, then go and do it.
Rule number 4, change your mindset.
I'm gonna give you the most important strategy that the next time you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling defeated, you're feeling like giving up, will save you and help you find that inner strength and next gear. Here it is. Tell yourself it's the best. The next time you're feeling down, frustrated, depressed, angry, tell yourself it's the best. Because now this is your chance to show yourself and the world what you're made of. The next time you're stuck at a red light and you're frustrated and complaining, it's the best. The next time you're working out and you feel like you're on your last set and your lungs are on fire and you can't push again, it's the best. The next time you're frustrated in business that you're not getting the sales you need and you feel like you're waking up every day and there's no momentum, it's the best. It's the best. This is your chance. This is your chance. You can complain for 7.5 seconds and get frustrated and then tweak it inside your brain to say, this is the best. Why? What does it do? First, it switches your mindset to one of hopelessness to one of resourcefulness. It switches your mindset from one of hopelessness, that this sucks, that I'm giving up, I'm defeated, it's over. Why is this happening to me? Why does this suck? To one of resourcefulness, that this is the best. This is my chance, because you grow through challenges, and this is the next challenge in front of me that I am going to grow through. Here's an example. I'm on a flight from Vancouver to LA and the guy next to me stinks. Just stinks. He's probably been on 3 or 4 different layovers, hasn't slept in forever, and just really smells. And I'm sure he's a great guy, but he smelled really badly. And I'm sitting next to him and it's a full flight. So what are my options? Not make my speaking gig in LA? Just not show up, get off the plane? No. Am I gonna be pissed off the whole time there and then that's a 5-hour flight, be upset then, and then when I get there I'm still upset and it ruins my whole day? No, I'm gonna say this is the best. So I complain for 7.5 seconds. This smelly dude next to me, I'm gonna sit next to him for 5 hours. And then what do? Breathe it in. It's the best. Because that smelly guy is not stronger than me. Because I'm teaching myself that I can grow from this. That this is not the edge of my capabilities. That sitting next to some smelly guy for 5 hours is not the edge of my capabilities. I can do more. This is the best. This is my chance to show myself in the world what I'm made of. It's the best. So try to catch it. You won't catch it most of the time. It's okay. You can be gentle on yourself in that part. But when you do catch it, when you catch yourself feeling frustrated, sad, down, depressed, tell yourself this is the best. And what would the strongest, most resilient version of you do? And then go do that thing and become that person.
Rule number 5, use the chief goal officer.
You need to be people's chief goal officer. If you want to move them into action, if you want them to win, you have to speak to them in their language and the things that they care about. The worst advice you could give somebody is what you would do. If you treat everybody who works with you and for you like the way you would be treated, you're going to lose forever. You're never going to build the organization you want because people have different goals and it's your job to understand what they are. So I'm doing this tour right now, 90 days, 23 cities. I often get asked by people, hey Evan, what book should I read? What video do you recommend from your channel for an entrepreneur? I've done 6,000 videos. The worst advice I could give is to give a generic answer. The worst advice I could give is to one that I would watch. Like, here's a video that I love the most. For me to give a good answer to you, I need to know your problem. I need to be your chief goal officer. I need to understand what you're struggling with. I could give you the greatest book recommendation of all time, but if it's not the thing that you care about right now, it's not going to serve you. And so before you give advice, before you try to help somebody else out, be their chief goal officer. There's two ways to do it. Understand their who and understand their why. Their who is their most important one-word core value, and their why is their purpose, and their purpose comes from their pain. So look at their who. I'll use an example with Alex, who runs Toronto Dance Salsa for me. His who is belong. His one word is belong. He wants to create a place where people feel like they belong. It's the one word for him, it's a one word for TDS. I know that's what he really cares about. For me, belonging doesn't really matter. If I don't feel like I belong in a room, I'm not bothered by it. I don't care what other people think of me. It's so low down on my list of priorities and values of what I personally care about. But for him, it's number one. He wants to make people feel like they belong. That's his one word, most important core value. That's his who. So I understand a little bit more about him. I understand how to push him. The next is your why. Your purpose comes from your pain. For him, he struggled so much in making friends and feeling accepted. He had super sweaty hands, and when he held a girl's hand, he would slide out because he sweat so much, and it tied into him never feeling like he belonged. And so this is now his purpose for life, is to help other people feel like they belong, that there's a space for them to come to and feel like they belong. His favorite movie of all time is Hercules, the Disney movie, the cartoon, where in that song they says something about a place where you belong. And when he hears that song, he cries. Great, this is Alex, right? I might play that song for myself and think, that's a good song. I might play that song for somebody else and they hate that song. Screw Hercules, amazing. Everybody's different. You need to be their chief goal officer. So if I'm talking to Alex and trying to motivate and push him and have him build an amazing company that he's proud of, I'm going to use words like belong. I'm going to use movie references like Hercules. I'm going to talk about creating a place where people can come together and feel like they're finally accepted, because that's at the core of what he's all about. That's me being his chief goal officer. And so you need to do that for everybody on your team. You need to do that for every customer that you work with. Stop treating everybody the same way. There's the classic rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and that's great, and that's treating people with compassion and care and kindness. But everybody's motivated by different things. And if you can only treat people one way, the way that you would like to be treated, you're going to only have success with a very narrow band of people. A very narrow band of customers, a very narrow band of employees, a very narrow band of partners. You're going to stay in this tiny little lane your entire life and never build a huge company. But if you can learn to be somebody's chief goal officer, if you can learn to understand what drives them, moves them, pushes them, what their who is, what their why is, why they're here, what they're trying to accomplish, you start building an 8-lane superhighway. And you can build a company that can take over the world.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
You can use rejection as fuel to help you go off and do something bigger, and motivation to, I'm going to prove them wrong.
It's got to be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's got to be amazing.
Rule number 6, inoculate yourself against judgment.
The more you live your life based on what other people think of you, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Listen, you're an entrepreneur. You want to do crazy things. You have a bold, ambitious vision for what you want to accomplish in your life.
You want to change the way something's done in an industry, right? That's what we want to do. We want to change the world. You know what? There's a lot of people who want to protect the world, the status quo. They want to protect the way things are done. You want to come in and shake up an industry? There's a lot of people who want to protect that industry. There's a lot of people who don't like change. There's a lot of people who are so afraid of seeing you be successful because it means that they suck, right? There's a lot of people who will, in your environment, in your family, in your home, your friends, people who they don't want to see you win because it means they suck, because you've left them. Because it means that they're not good anymore, because they judge themselves based off of what everybody else is doing. And a lot of people have someone in their family who went off and crushed it, and they tried it, and then they failed, right? They tried it, they may have had some success, and then they failed, and now nobody else around them is allowed to be successful. All they want to do is pull everybody else down. They took their shot, ultimately didn't work, and now they pull everybody else around them. You can't let that be you. The more you want to go off and have a bold, ambitious life for yourself, the more you're going to have to learn to what I call inoculate yourself against judgment. You need to inoculate yourself against judgment. The judgment of your friends, your parents, the people around you, the general public, social media. Inoculate yourself against judgment. As long as you care what other people think of you, you will lose. You will play small forever. You will not be living your version of your life. And so how do you do it? How do you inoculate yourself against judgment? Here's how it goes. Anytime you feel your heart beating, boom, 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 boom. Your heart's beating, you're nervous, you're scared, you're worried about what somebody's gonna think of you, you have to do the thing. You train yourself. Even if it's not an expression of you, even if you don't really care about doing that thing or not, you have to do it just to train yourself. Something like this would have been really difficult for me 10 years ago. Filming on the street was really hard. I'd be worried about what people think of me. I'd be worried about me standing here in San Francisco, people walking by, what they think of me. Yelling into my phone, yelling into this microphone here, talking to you guys right here. It's scary. And so because there's potential judgment, you get scared and then you don't do the thing. Teach yourself to do the thing. If filming in public sounds like a scary thing to you, like, oh, I couldn't do that, go do it. Go find the busiest street that you can find and then go make a video. And here's the thing, expect it to suck. You're not gonna be great the first time you do something, that's okay. Expect to suck, expect it to be the worst video you've ever made. And then pat yourself on the back and say, I did it.
Rule number 7, be patient with the result.
You're not in a big enough hurry because you don't view patience and impatience properly. You were trained and conditioned with a perspective that does not serve you. Today, we're gonna break that. We're gonna set you free so you can start hitting your goals a lot faster. Most people are patient with themselves, but impatient with the results. I'll say that again. You're patient with yourself, but you're impatient with the results. You want the results to happen right away. You're impatient. Like, when am I gonna get these results? But you're patient with yourself. You'll give yourself a break. You'll let yourself down. Like, I'll do that tomorrow. You're patient with yourself, but you're impatient with the results. I want you to flip it. This is the perspective shift that if you understand and make in your business, your entire life will change. You need to flip it. You want to be patient with the results and impatient with yourself. You want to be patient with the results and impatient with yourself. Know that the results that you're after will take time. You're chasing down big goals. You're an entrepreneur. You want to do amazing things. It's going to take some time for that to happen. But the impatience you need to put on a daily basis is on yourself. Did you do the most that you can do today and every single day to move a little bit closer to achieving your goals? So look at my business as an example. My next goal is to hit 10 million subscribers on my main YouTube channel. That's a big goal. It's going to take me a while to get there, right? It's not going to happen tomorrow. No matter how much work I put in, no matter what I do, it's not happening tomorrow. It's going to take some time. I get that. I'm patient with that. And I'm insanely impatient with myself. It's like, what can I do more today to get me closer to that goal? How can this video be the best video I've ever made? It may not come out, but it's my intention. You may not get that result every day, but it's my intention. If your intention was to every single day do the most you could do to move closer to your goal, man, you would get there so much faster. The problem is you're too patient with yourself. It's okay. I'll do it January 1st, right? New year. I'm gonna start fresh. January. I'll do it Monday. Start of the week. I can't do it now. It's a Thursday now. I can't do it now. I'll do it Monday. It's start of the week. I'm gonna start. That's the problem. If that's you, then the best thing you can do is right now. Right now. Instantaneously. The rest of today has to be amazing. And same thing for tomorrow, and same thing for tomorrow. Stop letting yourself off the hook. Stop saying it's okay, I'll get to that some other time. This is the problem why you're not accomplishing your goals faster. You're too patient with yourself. And then you're sitting there wondering, why am I not getting results? I've been doing this for 4 years and I haven't gotten results yet. You've been barely doing it. That's the problem. Doing something once a week, doing these starts and stops, you're never gonna hit your goal. It's gonna take you such a long time to get there. So don't be frustrated that it's taking time to get there. Be frustrated with yourself and the lack of effort that you're putting in to attack it. And change your identity. As soon as you start coming with that idea of I'll do that some other time, instantly stomp that out. Crush it. I'm doing that right now. And so I want to hit 10 million subscribers. It's going to take me some time. You might say, wow, you're growing quickly. Awesome. I think I'm growing slowly. Right? I want to go faster. I want today to be the best day ever. I need to make this video better. I need to make my thumbnails better. I need to make my team better. I need to make the editing better. It's a constant push every single day to do the most that you possibly can to get closer to accomplishing that goal. I want you to flip it. Be patient with the results. They will come. And impatient with yourself. If you every day woke up and attacked your goal and were insanely impatient with yourself and said, today has to matter. Today has to count. Today I'm gonna do something to move way closer to my goal than I ever thought possible. I'm gonna demand more of myself today. If you did that every day, holy cow, those goals are gonna pour in for you. And I'm cheering you on. So let's go super tactical for a minute. I want you to think about one thing that you've been putting off. One thing that you know you need to do. One thing that you know would move you a little bit closer to your goal. One thing you've been putting off. What's coming to mind right now? One thing that you have been putting off to say, I will get to that later. I will tackle that on Monday. And show yourself what you're made of. Make yourself proud today. The problem is we're not proud enough of our own effort. We're not proud of ourselves. It's not about proving it to anybody else. It's not about proving it to me or your parents or your family or anybody else. It's proving it to yourself. Being proud of yourself. And so my challenge for you today is, I want to go tactical. I want you to think about one thing that you have been delaying, that you've been putting off. I want you to tell me what that thing is in a comment below. And as soon as you press enter or send or whatever you press on YouTube to submit a comment, and then go do that thing. Or at least take a micro action on it to start building momentum and to start shifting your identity as you are somebody who is impatient with yourself. You're going to demand results from yourself on a daily basis.
Rule number 8, grow and improve.
Self-improvement is the answer to whatever obstacle is staring you in the face right now. The only difference between you and greatness is the willingness to grow and improve. It's not talent, it's not smarts, it's the willingness to improve yourself. The difference between you and Tony Robbins is he has spent more time constantly improving himself than most people on the planet. Here's a guy who had multiple fathers growing up, had an abusive mother who at 17 he had to run away from home so he could become a janitor and never go to college. He then decided to be a success. He read 700 books in 7 years. He studied under mentors like Jim Rohn, and today he's the founder or owner of companies with over $6 billion in annual revenue. If Tony Robbins can go from being an abused janitor with no college education to being one of the most influential people in the world, why can't you? The difference is he made the investment to constantly improve himself, and you haven't yet at that level. So I look at my channel as an example, my YouTube channel, and I've learned so much over the past number of years in confidence, in growth, in abilities, in skills, by consuming the content, because I love the top 10 series and the Mentor Me series and the Espresso series. I make them for me and then I share them with you, and thankfully you guys like them too, and I can build a business off of it and keep pumping out more content. But it helps me. I've grown, I've learned. And one of the biggest moments that helped me realize how much I've learned is when I signed a 3-year deal with Sage. I was working with Stephen Kelly, who is the CEO, and every month we'd be on a call. We'd be doing a hangout on my YouTube channel, answering questions from people. And I was driving with my dad, and I remember him asking me, how do you get the confidence to be on a call with Stephen Kelly and be seen as his equal all the time? And he wasn't asking me to put me down. He was asking me in genuine awe of, he was so happy for me that I was playing a bigger game. And it dawned on me that he was right. The Evan of 5 years ago wouldn't have been able to do that. The Evan of 5 years ago would have felt less than. The Evan of 5 years ago would have said, there's no way I'm capable of doing that. And then when I'd signed the deal, I felt like, it's great. I love Steven. He's amazing. But I feel like I'm hanging out with Oprah and Kanye and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and these super successful people, and they're infiltrating my brain on a daily basis, right? A daily basis. 3 videos every single day on this channel. And so bit by bit, it pulls me up. Now I've recognized I still have a long way to go. I still have so much more to learn. I still need to believe in myself even more. And every time I consume more content, it allows me to grow my comfort zone a little bit more. And the funny thing is, all of these moments are little tiny incremental parts of your growth. I couldn't point you to one point in my past where I said, that was the moment that I changed. That was the moment that I had more confidence. But as I studied every day, I could look back 3 months, 6 months, a year and say, wow, I've really changed. I've really grown. I've really learned a lot. But in the daily, from today to yesterday, I'd say I didn't grow at all. And so sometimes on your journeys, you're trying to learn and get better. You may feel like the growth is really slow on a daily basis, but if you keep going, you keep investing, you keep learning, you keep seeking out mentors, you keep trying to get better and improve. Not every day will be amazing, but if you try every day to get better and learn, I can guarantee you that in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, when you look back of the person you've become compared to what you are right now, there'll be a big change. And that's because you continue to invest in yourself. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process to how to create a customized program for you so that you can become world-class at the thing that you want to be world-class at. Step 1, decide what you want to be world-class at. You could be world-class at a lot of things with enough energy, effort, wisdom, pouring in to you, practice, repetition, you can be world-class at something. But what in your core, what is the thing that you need to be world-class at? What is the burning desire in you that you say, I want to be among the best in the world at what? Fill that in. What do you want to be world-class at? Number 2, immerse yourself in that environment. The fastest way to learn a language, the fastest way to learn Japanese is not from a textbook, it's not from going to classes, it's to go to Japan. You need to immerse yourself in the environment. Whatever the thing is that you want to be great at, the more you are around it, people who are doing it, people who are speaking it, people who are living it, the more it will rub off onto you and the faster it will rub off onto you. Now, it can be a physical environment, or it could also be from the content that you're consuming. I get it a lot from my own YouTube videos because I feel like I'm around Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey every single day. And the more you immerse yourself in that environment, the more their mindset, the more their motivation, the more their confidence is going to stick with you to help you go be world-class at the thing that you want to be great at. And then step number 3 is practice every single day. You need to practice every single day. It's not enough just to be around it. You need to practice. You got to do. You want to be world-class at something, right? That requires daily dedication. The reason why I got better at making my content, my videos, is I've done 6,000 videos. 1,000 videos aren't even public on my channel. We've thrown away more videos than most people ever create on their channel. And it's not because I'm amazing. Go back. Like, I encourage you, go back and look at my first videos. I sucked. It was brutal. It's because I said I want to be great at this thing. And I surrounded myself with people who could help push me and I could learn from. And then I practice every single day. The reason why I pass people who I consider to be a lot better than me at this is because I put in more work. Because when people had a hard time finding time to make 1 video a week, I was doing 3 a day. And if you take that same approach, if you take that same mindset of I'm just going to outwork everybody around me, I'm going to outwork my competition, when they may have a hard time finding time to do that thing that they need to get better at once a week, and you're doing it 3 times a day, you will blow past people who are more naturally talented because you have put in the work to get good at your skill.
Rule number 9, act despite fear.
Fear is normal. It's part of what makes you human. You would not be human, or you'd have some crazy condition if you never felt fear. I think the people who say don't be afraid aren't giving you practical advice. It's be afraid, feel the fear, and then step into it and do it anyway. And the more you get used to taking on those fearful projects that you're scared of, the stronger you'll get, the more resistance you'll get, the higher tolerance you'll get to do bigger, better, bolder, badder things. I think the trick, though, is spotting the fear. Here's what I think happens to most people. There's some opportunity that comes along. There's some moment that comes along whether it's with a client or meeting somebody or an event, something comes along that you're afraid of. You're afraid of doing it. It's gonna stretch you beyond what you've ever done before. And then what you do is you rationalize saying no. I don't have the money to go to that event. I'm too busy to go and do that thing right now. You find the reason why you can't go and do it. You rationalize it, but really deep down, the reason is you're just afraid. And until you spot the fear, until you understand that it's really just the fear, then you're never gonna solve the problem. So step one is understanding when there is fear. Step two is then stepping into it and doing it anyway. And a lot of this stuff is just so subconscious. We as human beings are kind of trained to, when we're afraid something's gonna go wrong, and to be safe. And so it's trying to catch that subconscious action and proactively change it. So as an example for me, when I was starting my YouTube channel, my agent would tell me, you have to go out and do videos in public. I want you to go out on the street and make a video in public. My natural reaction was fear, but I didn't catch it. Initially it was, the gear won't be as good in public, I can't control the light settings, I'm gonna be bouncing around with the camera, it's not gonna be a great experience for the people watching. Why would I do that? I'm rationalizing a reason why I don't have to do it, where really I'm just afraid, right? You could solve all those problems. And he told me, stop being afraid and just go out and do it. He cut through it and let me see my own fear. And so I did it. And when I first went out and filmed in public, I took out, it was my phone or my camera, I don't remember, and I'm walking on the street, and then the postman is there. And so as soon as I see the postman, I quiet down. I can put the camera away, just walking normally. And then when the postman leaves, I'm back to filming. And that time I noticed, I'm doing it because I'm afraid. And I got pissed. Okay, next time, I gotta speak up. Next time, I gotta do better. And so I went out and forced myself to go and do it again. And I was walking past and there were these construction workers. And instantly again, the panic sets in, people are watching, the construction workers. I know they don't really even care about me and what I'm saying, what's happening on the street. But I forced myself through it. It was awkward, it wasn't great. I think I had to redo it again anyway, but I took the step. I got better at it. I recognized the fear and I jumped into it. And now it's to the point where I'll make videos walking down the hall, I'll make videos when I'm at Disneyland, Disney World, I'll make videos in the streets of anywhere. And there's still a moment, even now, after how many videos I've done, there's still a moment of who's watching. I think it's natural and normal. It's not as strong as it used to be. And more importantly, it doesn't limit me from doing the thing that I want to do. And so spotting the fear and not rationalizing it away and not just doing what your subconscious always does that keeps you down where you are is so important. Being truthful that the reason why you said no or you're not taking this opportunity is just because you're afraid. And the answer to saying no should never be because I'm afraid. You want to rejig your system. So whenever that's the answer, because I'm afraid to do it, now you have to do it.
Rule number 10, find mentors.
I'm a big believer in mentorship. One, in terms of face-to-face people that you can go and learn from, and two, from what I call aspirational mentors, people who've done a lot more than you, who you may never meet, who may have passed on, but you can still learn from their success. It comes from the core understanding that whatever challenge you have in front of you right now, somebody else has already solved it. Whatever big problem you're facing in your life or in your business, somebody has already solved it and you don't need to come up with every ingenious solution yourself. This is one of the things that saved my first business. One of the two most important lessons that I've ever learned in my life was whenever I don't know what to do, whenever I have a big problem and I don't have the answer, I look for somebody who has already solved it and I try to learn from their lessons. In my first business, I had a software company. I was struggling, making $300 a month, barely able to survive. And I was just trying to come up with all these ideas myself. Okay, how about we do this? How about we do this? And nothing was working. And I told my partner I quit, and it was the worst day of my life. And when I woke up the next day, I realized I didn't want to quit. I just couldn't keep going the way I was going. And the light bulb moment was I realized I'm not the first guy to try to sell software before. Maybe our specific kind of software, yes, but in general, other people have figured out how to sell software and make lots of money and target lots of customers. How did they do it?
And I looked at Bill Gates and how he got started, and that started the process to me being able to build a real company. And that lesson that I learned at 19 years old has stayed true for the past almost 20 years, where every time I don't know what to do, I look at who can I model. It's why the name of this channel is Modeling the Masters. It's why I try to showcase lots of different successful people from all walks of life, because you can learn from them. I'm learning from them. And even today, in all my different businesses, earlier this week, I went to SoulCycle with Alex. So SoulCycle is a spinning company that has a great culture, recently came to Toronto. I think they're based in New York, it might be LA, but they came to Toronto, they opened up a location, and I heard so much about their culture that I thought, I'm trying to build a culture here at TDS. We have a what I think is a really good culture. If you can compare our culture to most businesses, I think it's amazing, but it could always be better, right? I want to model even greater success. And so Alex and I went to their class and we learned from them. We saw how they set up their store and their merch and how the staff greets you and how the instructor starts a class and runs a class and ends a class and what happens in the locker room. Like all the different pieces, you learn from them. It doesn't mean you're going to apply everything, but if you take one lesson here and one lesson here and one lesson here from people and companies that have had great success, it just makes you better. And so I would seek out mentors that you can meet face-to-face, or you can do now Google Hangouts with, or ask questions from. If anybody's doing a live stream, you get a chance to ask a question. I wish that existed when I was getting started as an entrepreneur. You know, you have so much more access to people than we've ever had before, but even if you're not going to the direct approach and hitting somebody, look into the aspirational mentors. Finding people who've done it before, even if they've passed on, their legacy have left a series of clues that if you can follow those clues, you can apply it to your life, to your business to achieve success. Whenever you don't know what to do, instead of trying to figure it all out yourself, understand people have done it before, seek them out, learn from them, apply it to your business, and you can have success as well.
Rule number 11, make no excuses.
Successful people don't make excuses. Successful people don't complain. If you look at whoever you want to look up to, look at the most successful people in the world in any industry, look at the top, and look at how much they complain. They don't complain. When you complain, when you blame something else, when it's the government's fault, or interest rates' fault, or the bad economy's fault, or your partner who screwed you over, or the customers who don't care, as long as you can blame somebody else, right? The education system, your parents, your friends, your upbringing, there's always somebody else to blame. And when you blame somebody else, when you're in that mindset, then you never grow. You're making things easy on yourself. It allows you to coast. It allows you to play life super safe because it's not your fault that you're not more successful. Of course, it's not your fault. That would be difficult. That would be hard. It's somebody else's fault. So you can just stay where you are because people are holding you back from accomplishing the thing that you want to accomplish. Where successful people take responsibility for where they are in life. And they say, I don't care about the government. I don't care who's president. I don't care about regulations that you have or things that you're holding me back on. I will still go out and get mine. And of course, there are other factors. Of course, the country you come from matters. Of course, the education you had and the connections you had growing up, of course it matters. But so what? You have to play the hand that you were dealt. You have these cards. You have to play those cards. And you can have success. One of the things I love looking at, and this is why I do all these profiles, is successful, famous entrepreneurs. There is always somebody who has done way more than you have done with way fewer resources than you already have. So no matter what terrible situation that you have, and I'm empathetic. Maybe you come from a broken home. Maybe you have a really severe disability that's physically holding you back from doing some of the things you want to do. You know, maybe there's a lot of pressure on you. Maybe you have some disease. Maybe you have zero money in your bank account. These are real pressures, and I'm empathetic to that. But so what? The longer you believe that those things are gonna hold you where you are, then they will. There are people who have worse conditions, less money, are in worse situations, and they came out of it and accomplished amazing things because they believed that they could. And if somebody looks like you has gone on and accomplished big things, then you can too. And it only happens when you accept responsibility for where you are in life. So I could look at my YouTube channel and say, the YouTube algorithm changed.
The YouTube algorithm is all over the place now. I can't figure it out. Stupid YouTube for changing their algorithm and hurting my videos. I'm pumped whenever the YouTube algorithm changes. I'm so excited because the people who are ahead of me, the people who are getting all the videos and all the views, the people who are complaining, I love it. Change it more because I'm going to figure it out. I love the process of figuring it out. Whenever there's chaos, I see opportunity. And that's what entrepreneurs do. The most important thing that you need as an entrepreneur is not resources, it's resourcefulness. So that no matter what is thrown at you, and you're going to get a lot thrown at you in your life, you have already had a lot of stuff thrown at you. And guess what? As an entrepreneur, you're just going to get punched in the face again. It's going to get worse. You're going to get more thrown at you. It's going to be eating more crap for years. This is the life you signed up for. And on the other side is amazingness. So when you accept responsibility for where you are, when you realize that in every situation, no matter how much outside your control you think it is, there's always something that you can do to make your situation better. When you accept that full responsibility and stop making excuses, that's when life starts to change. That's when your business starts to explode. And that's when you start to see the impact and financial wealth that you want to create for yourself start to happen.
Rule number 12, the last one before our very special bonus clip. Raise your standards.
Expecting excellence starts with you expecting excellence from yourself. People want to work for people who they aspire to be like. If someone excellent is working for you, but they have higher standards than you do, they will eventually leave you. Your company's limit is your standards. So I look at Alex as an example, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. I invested into the company a number of years ago. I became the 100% owner in it, and then I'm training Alex to run it. One of the things that Alex had an issue was showing up on time. He had low standards for himself of being on time. If you said be here at 10 o'clock, he would be here at 10:15 or 10:20, and that just became what he was known for. Everybody knew Alex as a guy who didn't follow through, who came late to things, and that was Alex. Great. Some people are willing to put up with it. Some people will tolerate it because they like his energy, his enthusiasm, his fun, his bravado. They like it, and they have low standards for themselves. But high achievers, people who have high standards, that would drive them nuts. And people would leave the business. People would not want to work with them. People would want to go somewhere else because their standards are higher than the person that they're supposed to be working for. Nobody wants to be in that situation. You do not want to work for somebody who has lower standards than you do. And so the challenge became, Alex, we need to raise your standards. You need to start showing up not just on time, but early. For him now, it's 10 minutes early. So if he said he's gonna be here at 10, that means you're there at 9:50. You're there at 10 to 10. You have to be. So you're late. If you show up at 10 o'clock for Alex, his own standards, not somebody else. If you're showing up at 10 o'clock and you say you're gonna be there at 10 o'clock, he's late to himself. That's a starting point. And as his standards have risen, so have the people underneath his team who are willing to follow him. As your standards rise, as you care more about yourself and what you're doing and what you will no longer accept and tolerate, then the people who are working for you, their standards rise as well. And you're able to now attract a much wider pool because they want to level up. People want to be around you, yes, for your mission, but they want to level up. It's your responsibility to help people level up. And so if you're only at this point, as soon as somebody gets here, they're leaving. But as you can go here, then you can attract a lot of people underneath who want to level up, and they're going to learn from you, not just the knowledge, but the abilities, the mindset, the hustle, the energy, the drive that you pour into your business will be an inspiration to other people when you raise your own standards. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process you can follow right now to raise your standards, to demand excellence of yourself. Step number 1, figure out where do you want to be excellent? What's the thing that you want to be excellent at? What's next? Is it for your consistency? Do you want to wake up earlier in the morning? Do you want to make sure you're working out every day? Do you want to make sure you're showing up on time or early? Do you want to be known as the person who gets things done? Like where? There's so many areas in your life that you can probably raise your standards. What is the most important one to you right now? Number 2, you put it in your calendar. Standards and success come from habits. It's from what you consistently do. You are what you consistently do, not what you do in these one-off moments. It has to be in your calendar. What is the thing that you want to get excellent at? You want to raise your standards in and then show me in your calendar, show yourself in your calendar, where are you spending the time to get better at that thing? So if it's going to the gym, working out, great, where is that in your calendar? Put that in your calendar. Are you waking up at an early enough time to go off and do it? If it's showing up early to meetings, like it was for Alex, great. Put it in your calendar. You need to buffer time to travel. You need to buffer time in case there's traffic. You need to buffer time in case some emergency comes up. You should aim to be there 30 minutes early. So then if you're there 10 minutes early, it's okay, right? You're not late. And if you show up at 10, you are late. Show it to yourself in your calendar. And then step number 3 is surround yourself with it. Whatever the thing is that you want to learn, the more that you are around it, the more it's going to seep into you. If you want to learn how to have belief, my channel is the best thing in the world, right? Any of my channels is the best thing in the world because you are around people who believe. And so if you want to have more belief in yourself and what you're working on, subscribe to my channel and watch the videos. If you just watch the videos and you just pay attention, over time, it'll seep in. It's unavoidable. What you surround yourself with is what you become. So you have a choice now. You didn't have a choice when you're born. You don't have a choice of your parents. You don't have a choice of your upbringing or the country or the religion or language or anything else. All the things that you may see as potential hindrances to you or the people in your community. You don't have a choice, but you can choose what you consume. You can choose how you're going to learn. And so whatever the thing is that you want more of in your life, find a way to attract it more into your life. Create your own 254 program. I have a 254 series around confidence, around self-love, around girl boss, women entrepreneurs, around writers. If you want to write a book and you're struggling to be a writer and you subscribe to the 254 Writer's Wisdom, it's free. You will get a message every single morning from J.K. Rowling, from Stephen King, from super successful writers. If you just watch that video every day for 254 days, you will become a more successful writer. You just will, because you're hanging out virtually with successful writers. So you need to create your own 254 program. My goal is eventually to have thousands of these, but I don't yet. Create your own. I look at Wim Hof, who does the cold breathing, ice baths, totally changed my life. Haven't gotten sick really since taking his method on. But it's easy to forget if people around you aren't doing cold baths, they're not breathing, you're this weird duck doing this crazy thing, you're gonna lose your motivation. And so what should you do? You wanna be more like Wim Hof? Great. Subscribe to Wim Hof's YouTube channel. Subscribe to his newsletter. Subscribe to his followers who also have their own YouTube channels. Every day consume something that talks about having cold showers and breathing, and it'll become part of what you are. The more you are around it, the more it'll become who you are. And so you need to create your own version of a 254 program where every day you are consuming content to be like the people that you aspire to be. Take on that belief system that you want to take on, to raise your standards and demand excellence from yourself in the thing that you want to be excellent in.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just get inspired, you watch a video, you get motivated, amazing. The science says you have a 35% chance of actually doing something, actually following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. That is not you, not now, not anymore, not today. But when you get inspired and then you create a specific plan of action for what you're gonna do, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit publicly to others, like leaving a comment in this video, it jumps to 95%. So the question of the day is your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and maybe next week I'll profile you.
You're trying to change yourself to fit into a social circle because you feel you're not good enough. You feel you're not good enough. You feel you won't be accepted otherwise. You feel you have no friends. The reality is you're different. You're weird. That's amazing. That's great. And it's never been easier to find your tribe. It's never been easier to find people who build you up, who support you, who cheer you on, and who want similar things to you. And until you find that group, you're always going to feel like an outcast. You're always going to feel like a fake. You're always going to feel like you're trying to impress people who you don't like, but what's your alternative because you have no friends otherwise? And so here's a process you can use to follow to help you be around the right people and start building the life you want. Step 1. Eliminate negativity. Think about the people in your life right now who just make you feel low, who suck your energy, who you don't feel good about yourself when you're around. who just make you feel low and you don't want to be around them anymore. Maybe those are some friends that you grew up with and that they're not your friends anymore, and that's okay. I think a lot of us stay in relationships based out of convenience. Just because you went to elementary school with somebody doesn't mean that you should still be their friend now. You're just in that relationship out of convenience. You guys have grown apart and you need to accept it. If you're around negative people like that, or maybe it's your parents, then either limit your exposure to them or cut off access completely. You know, if it's a friend who's toxic, don't be around that person anymore. If it's people who make you feel less than, don't be around those people anymore. If it's your parents or it's a close friend that you still have some connection to, but there's just one thing that when you talk about makes you feel bad, don't talk about those things anymore. If you're talking to your parents and they don't like your entrepreneurial aspirations, don't talk about that stuff anymore. Put boundaries up, because there's still enough of a connection around other things, hopefully. If not, maybe you don't want to be talking to those people. But if there's enough of a connection still with your mom, with your dad, talk about that stuff and put boundaries around talking about your career, because you know it's going to cause controversy, people to get upset, and negativity. So step one is you need to eliminate the people or limit access to you from the people who are causing you to feel bad about you. There's no way you're going to create amazing things, build an amazing business if you're around negative people who bring you down all the time. It's just not possible. So step one, eliminate those people or limit access. Step two, now you've got this hole. You've got a gap in your schedule. You've got extra time now on your hands, and now what you want to do is fill it with positivity. And I see two paths here. One, you want to start trying to hang out with people who feel the same way you do. And so look for entrepreneur events, look for meetup groups, look for conferences that are coming to your town. I'm here making this video in Las Vegas. At every stop along the tour that I've been doing over the past X number of days, 45 days or so, we got 45 more days ahead. It's been amazing to see the connections that people make by being in a room of other successful entrepreneurs who have the same mindset of wanting to go off and accomplish something great. Somebody just DM'd me 2 days ago of people who met in my Los Angeles event. They had never known each other before. They met at my LA event, and then they went running together. They went running and caught the sunrise together in LA. That's what I'm talking about. When you start going to events where you start meeting people who feel the same way you do, who want to build similar things as you are, it just lifts your energy so much. Like, finally, holy cow, there's other people who believe the same thing I do. I want to hang around those people more. And so say yes. Look at what events are happening in your city and go to them. Some might be free, some might be paid. Depends on what your budget is, but go to them. Start meeting people. Say yes. Be around that environment, because you're not getting that right now with your parents, your friends, the circle that's around you immediately. You need to step out and start hanging around these people and start going to events. Maybe you only meet one person at that event. That's okay. That's a start. Surround yourself with those people.
If you want to learn the number one thing you need to do if you want to grow your life, check out the video next to me. I think you're going to enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
You don't want to ask for help because you're afraid. You're afraid that one, they're going to say no, or two, that you are imposing on them.